Okay, I wanted to do the final on the air cleaner I made. I got it all done, so there's not a huge amount of stuff to go over, but I wanted to explain a few important things because it'll be the difference between success and failure. And of course you can you can do a lot of messing around from here with polishing it up to a high luster and what have you, but this bike isn't a show bike, so I just did a Scotch-Brite, the whole thing. Now, if you look at the screen on this, my wife gave me her credit card to put some fuel in my truck, so I snuck over to the hardware store and spent $12 on that screen. You can see it's pretty fine. There's not a lot of, what have you. I mean, I don't think it could even suck up a fruit fly wouldn't even fit through it. But you can see it's nice and flat without any wrinkles in it. Well, it's very, very frustrating to do that, or to get that to that point, because here's the screen. You can't drill holes through this screen because it just spirals. The screen ends up, instead of cutting through the screen, it just cuts a slot in it, and then that slot just spirals up the drill bit. So it's very aggravating, and these little wires come off this and poke you and what have you. But visualize this. This cover plate with all the bolts in it, it's you take that off and you separate it from the air cleaner. And since I can't edit videos and show you how to do this, I'm just going to explain it all to you. So I took 2 pieces of wood, just 2 old crusty pieces. I laid the aluminum template on top here, and I took the whole screen it's hard to do, but visualize the whole screen being on here. Then you sandwich your board onto it, and you put your metal template on it, and then you screw that into here with just drywall screws, like 3 of them or whatever. And what that does is it sandwiches it in between here. Well, then you just take your drill and drill your whole pattern onto the screen. So when you take the screen out, then you have perfect holes drilled through it because it's been sandwiched in there. And then you lay the whole thing on the air cleaner, get it all screwed down, and then you take a fine, ultra fine Sharpie and you mark around the outside. You can still see the mark. And then you cut inside of your Sharpie mark. And what I do, just a standard pair of sheet metal trimmers, and I get it as deep into the throat as I can, or fairly deep, and see, you can make a nice cut. So you cut it all. Well, then you lay it out, then you just lay your screen on there, put your cover on. Your holes are big enough, because it's very important that you don't have any screen going down into your thread, because those brass wires will jam up your thread. And so I kind of jiggle them as I go in, and I guess I kind of lucked out on this one, because none of them got galled in there or anything. So I paid $12 for the screen, probably a couple bucks in hardware, bolts. All the aluminum was just 4-drop stuff off, different metal shops around here. They let me dig through their scraps, and so I end up with roughly, I don't know, $14, $15 into this air cleaner. Now, you do have weld time and argon, so shielding gas. So let's say it's a $30 air cleaner. It's still quite a bit of air cleaner for 30 bucks, and you had a lot of fun making it. So this bike's getting real close to being ready. I got this Boost Monkey oil passage for the oil feed into it. You can see it's just got a tiny hole, and I like these because I think they're built by actual monkeys. So that's cool. So this fitting will just mist the oil into the turbo, because people don't realize the turbo doesn't need a lot of oil. What you do want to have is the oil to leave the turbo as fast as you can. But anyway, there's a couple, I got to build a license plate taillight bracket for this, because my brother Mark did a bunch of work on this bike, and it's just shit work. I'm actually a little bit irritated about it, because you got to do a good job on stuff. So I'm redoing that stuff, and yeah, just don't get in a hurry. Thanks for watching, the couple people that actually watch.